All right, number 6. We have an inequality, and it says find the solution to the polynomial inequality. Express your answer in interval notation. So here we are going to factor this after we set it equal to 0. So we have x squared is greater than 2x plus 15. So I'm going to move both these terms to the other side by subtracting them over, and that will give me x squared minus 2x minus 15 is greater than 0. We're going to try to factor this term. So 1 times 15 is 15, and the factors of 15 that subtract and give us 2 are what we're looking for. So 1 and 15, and then we have 3 and 5. Normally don't write this little line here. 3 times 5 is 15, and if you subtract them you get 2. So this will factor. We're going to put 2 x's and then the 3 and the 5. First sign tells you the bigger number, so 5 is bigger. The second sign, being a minus, tells me that they're different, so that means this one has to be different from minus, so it has to be plus. And then from here we're still going to do what we would do if we had an equation. Set these equal to 0 and find our x values. So imagine setting these equal to 0, we would get x equals -3, and we would get x equals 5. Alright, so from here we need to figure out what is the interval of the solution when we have an inequality. Use it as a range of numbers. So here's 0, -3 would be somewhere on the left, +5 would be somewhere over here on the right, and we have 3 areas that we need to try to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to plug a number, or pick a number, on the left side, in the middle, and on the right side, and see which one gives me a true statement. So let's just do -5. In the middle we can do 0, and over here we'll do, say, 6, I guess. Something relatively small outside, or bigger than this number, smaller than this number rather, and then bigger than this number, but relatively small as we can get. So 6 is a whole number. Alright, so what we're doing, I'm going to plug in -5 right here for x. We plug in a -5, this will give us a -2, so I should write it out. So I'm doing -5 plus 3, and then -5 minus 5. Seeing if this whole equation is going to be greater than 0. I get a -2, and then we get a -10. Negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive is going to be greater than 0. So this turns out to be true. This is a true statement. If I plug in 0, so I'm going to leave the same thing up, just plug in a 0. We get a 3, and we get -15. So 3, -15. When we multiply these two numbers, we get a -45. And a negative number is not greater than 0. So right here in the middle, this is false. This is not true. So none of these numbers will work. And then I'm going to try this again with the number 6. So you test all 3 of those numbers that you plugged in. 6 plus 3 gives me a +6. 6 minus 5 gives me a +1. 6 times 1 is positive, and positive is going to be greater than 0. So this is also true. So what this tells us is that from -3 and going this direction, these numbers work, and from positive 5 going this direction, all of those numbers work. This middle part, okay, is not a solution. None of these numbers will plug in and make this true. So the way that you write your overall final answer in interval notation, we will say from negative infinity up to negative 3. And since there's no equal to, no equality, we will just leave it in parentheses. And then I have union, this other part, from positive 5 up to positive infinity. So everything to the left of negative 3 works, and everything to the right of positive 5 works. So we're going to say negative infinity to negative 3, comma, negative 3. And then we have to do union, and parentheses, 5 to infinity.